All right, folks, we're back. It's hour number 2. Yes, Gwen, I'm still here, and we're going to be talking about this hour about what happens when the internet goes down. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because last show we brought up SurvivorBay.com, and it's a new website that is quote unquote insurance against the internet going down, and people are sending me emails saying, well, this is a website, so if it goes down, what makes this website any different? It should just go down like the rest of them, right? Wrong. See, here's something that people don't understand. When you're dealing with technology like this, sometimes the best way to combat that technology is to dial back, is to go back to the old school. So, for example, if things are getting too expensive at the grocery store, then what are you going to do? You're going to go old school. You're going to grow yourself a garden, try to become a little more self-sufficient. Ain't that right, Gwen?
Yep, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. Did I catch you off guard?
Well, yeah, I kind of had my microphone muted. I'm always talking into a muted microphone.
No sweat. So this is kind of the same premise in that what you do is you're dialing back. So what happened before the internet was around? Well, there was stuff called bulletin board systems, things called bulletin board systems where people dialed in to a server. Now, that server could be anything from a large corporate server down to Joe Schmuckatelli down the end of the street. Yes, Joe Schmuckatelli gets around. And Joe Schmuckatelli has his computer set up to where people can dial in. And on Joe Schmuckatelli's computer happens to be a message board where he and his other buddies get together and they kind of talk or they do whatever they have to do. Now, each the way that you expand access to this bulletin board system is simply by having more hardline phone lines. Now, you may say, oh, gosh, dial-up connection. Oh, I remember those. They're slow as molasses. Well, the idea isn't to have major graphics and things of that. It is information. You're having that information stream still up and active. And that's the big thing to understand is you want that flow of information to still flow. You still want it to move. That's one of the reasons why the powers that be can't stand the internet. Because, oops, we didn't realize it was going to totally thwart our plans. But that's one of the things that they didn't kind of account for, Gwen, is that boy, this internet thing really isn't exactly. Boy, it's a lot more dangerous than we thought.
Well, I think that was one of the best things that they did in causing all this unemployment was it gave people a whole bunch of free time to sit and educate themselves and explore the internet. And boy, I'll tell you what, information that normally would not have gone viral, wouldn't have gotten to those people, now they have all kinds of time to sit around and utilize the internet as a educational resource. And I think it's just wonderful. But who was it, Brzezinski, who said in Canada not too long ago that we can't have all this information
That's right.
flowing around. It's messing up our game.
Well, it makes the peasantry and us slave class. It makes us dangerous because while you might not think somebody with a pitchfork is dangerous, 300 million people with a pitchfork, they're dangerous. I don't care what you throw at them. You're not going to be able to take care of all 300 million people at one time. And that's my point, is that information stream, that connection, that networking that has to happen, that's made things so successful within the people, the awakened, I guess you could say, that still needs to be there, regardless if they have quote unquote cyber attack or something like that, and they say, well, it's too dangerous, so we're gonna restrict internet usage. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to totally shut the internet down. It ain't going to happen because there's a lot of commerce that happens on the internet, and consequently, it would really deal a serious blow to the economy. But boy, oh boy, will they be monitoring it like crazy. And when that happens, and it's happening now, you might want something like that as a fallback plan, a dial-up server to be able to go on, take care of your business, do it discreetly, do it securely, and go about your merry way. And that's one of the nice things about Survivor Bay is in emergency mode, if that does occur, it becomes a dial-up server. So there is no internet. You're not using the internet.
I think that there's more than the powers that be that can have an effect on our ability to transact in the internet. There could be an EMP, there could be a CME, even coronal mass ejections have blown grids and that kind of thing, where it would affect it could affect satellites if it can affect the power grids, those kinds of things. So even if it's not a long-term shutdown by, the powers that be, trying to stop the flow of information, there are other things that can affect your ability to have that continuity of service.
That's right.
So, that's something else to look at too. It's not just, and I think a lot of people, when we talk about Survivor Bay, I've had people say, "Oh, well, if the internet goes down, it's not going to work." They're not getting it. They're not getting the picture. They're not getting that this is absolutely designed to be there when the internet goes down.
That's right.
It's not designed to go down with the internet. It's exactly the opposite. So that there is a backup. And I think the most important thing is being able to have a place like Joplin's a perfect example with, somebody being able to get on Survivor Bay and just type a message in the forum. I'm okay. I'm in a hotel, or, so that family members can go there and check. You can go and see what the weather conditions are, or the availability of power and structure and all those things in different parts of the country and the world by being able to be connected to Survivor Bay, which may or may not be available, like in Joplin, they don't have cell service because the towers are down.
Right.
So this could be an option. And I know here in South Dakota, we have high winds a lot of times, and it takes our power out, and my cell phone won't work, but if you have a regular plug-in phone, then you can still use that. Or a lot of people have those plug-in phones that sit on a charger. Well, they can't even use their phone
right
if the electricity's off, but if you have a plug-in phone, it works. So it's the same type of a deal, and I think that's the thing that people are misunderstanding about Survivor Bay, thinking that they're going to be paying for a service that when the internet goes down isn't going to work anyway.
That's right. And let me just answer this. Quiet Bear just asked, as I understand it, as long as there are landline phones, we can create our own internet. Is that the situation with Survivor Bay? Absolutely. That's what used to be the quote-unquote internet, was this network of bulletin board systems, but they weren't tied together. See, that's the one thing that the internet did, was it kind of made all of these servers tied together, and the internet is like the backbone. So all you're doing is taking that backbone out of the equation. That's where that's at. You're just kind of going back to that 1980s technology, because when you do that, then nobody has access to your server unless you give it to them. That's it. I mean, it's a much more secure and easy way to handle things.
Yep, I tell you, John too has posted a wealth of information, and anyone who's a member can post information, share information, whether you want to barter or trade, or you need information, or you're traveling and you want to connect with other people in your travels. You can utilize that forum for that, whether the internet is up or down.
Right.
And so it's a place to really connect with people and be able to stay stay in the loop as you travel.
Right. One of the things to understand too is a lot of people listening to the show have cable modems. Well, if you have telephone going through a cable modem, then Survivor Bay won't work when the internet goes down because you won't have phone, because you have what's called voice over IP. When you have a cable modem, that's all that is. That cable modem assigns your phone an IP address, or the modem has an IP address, and you're just plugging it in. It's voice over IP. So what you're going to need is a solid, a copper landline or whatever to be able to do that. Something that's not voice over IP. Now, normally if you have a DSL connection and you're using DSL, well, you have a regular landline. So that's something to also be aware of when considering something like Survivor Bay, because if the internet goes down and you're using VoIP, you're going to be down hard. But
and the other thing too is even if you're in a community or you've got neighbors and there's only one person that has that landline,
right,
you're still able to access that information on Survivor Bay.
Exactly.
And so it's not like everybody has to go out and get a landline.
No, of course not.
If there's just one person that has a landline, you can still take your laptop and connect to that information.
Now, when John King gets back, we're going to be having a drawing for at least one or two, if not more, 30-day memberships to Survivor Bay, so that you can go and see the chat room, so you could go and see the message board, so you can go and see the resources that are already in place there. And the nice thing about it is it's a repository. It's for people to go there and share their experience and share their information and their knowledge with other like-minded individuals out there. And hopefully the idea is if we all kind of get together and we collectively put our resources together, especially intellectually, we can weather the storm a lot better in the months ahead as things goes on, because I can't see it, Gwen, getting much better or improving.
No, me either.
You know what I mean? It's
aren't we just the hopeless optimists?
I don't know. I always say to myself, this is it, man. This is going to be the end. This is the last one, and we just seem to keep on plugging along, and it doesn't get any easier, but it's just like, I can't believe it. Like the economy. How the hell do they keep it going? How do they do it?
That really baffles me too, Joe, because I really figured 2 years ago we would be in the tank big time. It's just unbelievable to me that they've been able to hold it together this long. And really, I think that they're losing their grip. And I've said this many times, and I say it again because I wholeheartedly believe it. I hear people all the time talking about the New World Order, and just with this fear and this, like they got everything, and we're helpless to them, we're victims to them. And I say, no, damn it. We have control over our thoughts and what we do, and every time we use the word New World Order, we give our power to them. Mm-hmm. And we need to stop doing that. We need to stand in our rightful constitution